Principal Scientist, Epidemiology Division, ICR IVR Izzatnagar, Uttar Pradesh. So, sir will be delivering a talk on epidemiological investigations of foodborne outbreak. So now I request Dr. Vaidya to introduce the today's speaker. Dr. Vaidya, please.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to you all, dear participants and speakers of today's session. Before I request to sir for his presentation, I will give brief introduction about him. So, Dr. Dharmendra Kumar Sinha is working as a principal scientist. He is a senior faculty of veterinary public health and epidemiology at ICR IVRI. His field of research are monitoring and surveillance, epidemiology, investigation of animal disease outbreaks, meta-analysis and economic losses due to animal diseases. Sir has handled several institutional projects as principal investigator and co-principal investigator of ICR funded projects. Dr. Sinha has served as referee for a number of journals which included Indian Journal of Comparative Microbiology, Immunology and Infectious Diseases, also Journal of Applied Animal Research, Indian Journal of Animal Science, and Journal of Veterinary Public Health. He has 25 years of postgraduate teaching experience of epidemiology. He has published more than 60 research papers in peer-reviewed national and international journals. He has authored one book on epidemiology besides many chapters. He is a member of several scientific societies, including Indian Association of Veterinary Microbiology, Immunology and Infectious Diseases, Indian Association of Immunology and Immunopathology, and Indian Association of Veterinary Public Health Specialists. Also, sir has published patents. He is a well-renowned epidemiologist, and also he is working as a treasurer for many years in our IAVPHS association. So with this, uh, although many points are there, achievements are there, but with this very brief introduction, now I invite and request Dr. D.K. Sinha sir to start his presentation. D.K. Sinha sir, please.
By consumption of food is foodborne disease. It may be toxic or infectious in nature. When number of cases of a similar foodborne disease resulting from consumption of common food are 2 or more, then it is called foodborne disease outbreak. There are few same type words having same meaning like cluster, outbreak, and epidemic, which are often used interchangeably, but there is some minor differences. What are those? Just see. Cluster means describe a group of cases linked by time or place, but there is no identified common food or source. Whereas in foodborne outbreak refers to 2 or more cases resulting from ingestion of common food. And foodborne disease Epidemic is same, but at larger extent, more number of people are involved and in a wider geographical area. So, what are the sources of getting information pertaining to foodborne outbreak? It may be public. Through public, you can get information, or through media, or through primary health providers, or healthcare workers, or hospitals, or food service facilities, or through surveillance laboratories, or disease notification. So there are so many sources. So what are the primary goals of outbreak investigation? First is to stop current outbreak as soon as possible by implementing effective control measures, and to implement whatever you get from investigation, those measures which prevent the occurrence of similar type of outbreaks in future. To achieve these goals, it is necessary to rapidly identify the cause of outbreak, including people at risk and their characteristics. What is the causative agent and mode of transmission and vehicle? What is the source of contamination? What are the contributing factors, and whether such type of outbreaks occurs earlier or not? That is environmental antecedents. So, for conducting foodborne outbreak investigation, a team is required. The team varies, but it always needs knowledge and skill in environmental health, epidemiology, laboratory, public health education, and communication. So team, first of all, environmental health investigator. What are their responsibility? They receive and interpret foodborne illness complaints, investigate suspected food and or food establishment, interview food workers and managers, examine food storage, handling, preparation, identify factors that resulted in food contamination, collect environment and food samples, collect paperwork, and implement control measures. This is the work assigned to epidemiological investigator. He analyzes the data from pathogen-specific surveillance and identifies clusters, characterize case by time, place, and person, plans epidemiological studies, interviews cases and healthy controls, analyze and interpret results from epidemiologic studies. Next one is public health nurse. The public health nurse focuses on patients. He or she interviews patients, collect clinical samples from patients, administer questionnaire for epidemiological studies, advise patient how to prevent the spread of illness, and provide public health education. The laboratory investigators analyze clinical foods, clinical samples, foods and environmental samples, interpret test results, advise team about test, what type of test they should conduct, how to collect, handle and store the and transport the specimens. Then coordinate additional testing. If sample is sent to some another laboratory, how to coordinate between different laboratories to get the information result, test result. Next. So besides that, other persons often included in outbreak investigation team, they are public health officers, public health educator, public information officer, regulatory investigators, veterinarians, if animal are involved, healthcare providers, industry members, if there is ready to cook meat like food like is involved. So team work together and support each other. Team responsibility is assigned, prioritize and assign activities, and to develop hypotheses about outbreak source, interpret investigation findings, develop public message, decide on prevention and control of measures. These are the works of team. There are certain relevant questions. I think you people must aware about what is epidemiology, what is epidemiological triad, epidemiological methods, what is inspection, what is disease rate, proportion, ratio, what I have given listed. I think you must be aware. Then it will be then you will be able to learn it easily, understand the topic easily. Next. So there are some steps. It is not necessary that each step should be followed by one and another. Some steps may be occur simultaneously. Like first is receipt of initial information or data, verification of the fact. Third is determination of whether an outbreak has occurred or not. Description of cases in terms of time, place, and person. Then formulation of hypothesis. Analytical, epidemiological, environmental, and laboratory studies, sample handling and processing, a statistical analysis, then report writing and submission. Since foodborne outbreak investigation is dynamic, therefore in reality, some steps may happen at the same time. So just you will learn, I am giving one example. Lunch at Chinese restaurant. So, receipt of initial information received from media through hospital that on 6th April 2020, a total of 15 persons had vomition and diarrhea after taking lunch in a party organized at Chinese restaurant on 5th April 2020. This information the team received. Then how they proceed, just see. So first step will be, initial step will be a stop serving all preparation of Chinese restaurants. Means the working of Chinese restaurants involved in disease outbreak should be a stop. Then whatever order, home delivery order is given to these Chinese restaurants should be a stop. Then if someone is on the way to deliver, they will be called back so that the disease should be controlled. So then we do verification of the facts. Preliminary assessment of the situation we have to do. What is the fact? A lunch party was organized on 5th April 2020, consisted of a gathering of about 70 plus, and it began around 11 a.m. Other participants were helpers, drivers. They also take part in this party besides the people who are invited. The menu was sweet and sour soup, fried rice, noodles, paneer Manchurian, chicken Manchurian, and vegetable Manchurian. The food serving was started by 12 noon on 5th April 2020. So we verify the facts. A questionnaire was prepared and information were collected from both cases. Means those consumed the items from menu and control, that is those not exposed, means did not consume item of menus. Then case reported nausea, vomiting and diarrhea 4 to 11 hours after eating in that Chinese restaurant. 4 cases reported with symptoms of nausea and vomiting by 4:30 p.m. after taking meal from 12 p.m. Then to hospital in City X by 10 to 11 p.m. Further 11 were admitted. They complained vomiting, abdominal pain and diarrhea. So we have to confirm whether it is an outbreak or not, because we see that 15 people are affected in total, showing clinical signs. Besides that, there are some which show minor clinical sign and symptoms. So clinical specimen collected are stool, and vomit, a specimen of leftover food items from each in the menu. Then commonality. What is the commonality? Common thing? Same restaurant, same Chinese food, same type of sign and symptoms. So therefore, it is a perfect case of foodborne outbreak. So we have to define in terms of time and place. Those suffering with nausea, vomiting and diarrhea, they are the persons. Then we have to collect age-wise, sex-wise information pertaining to those persons. And had taken Chinese foods at the restaurant A, this is the place. Means those persons which have attended that party and taken the food as per the menu provided by the Chinese restaurant. Then what is the time? Here we have to take into account 72 hours before the reporting. We have get information on 6th, so we will collect information pertaining to all cases from 4th onwards, 4th April, 5th April and 6th April. This is the time. So whoever attended the meeting party, they are the possible cases. Then those took Chinese food on 5th April were probable cases. Then those cases, out of that probable cases, confirmed by lab are termed as confirmed cases. So now we have, on the basis of these primary data, we have formulated a hypothesis. The outbreak is associated with food, and incriminated food item may be any from the menu. Now we have to see which food item is responsible for the foodborne outbreak. So we will proceed for analytical, epidemiological, environmental and laboratory studies. First of all, we will calculate incubation period and duration of illness. The food serving is started by 12 noon on 5th April 2020, and cases reported, first 4 cases reported by 6:30 p.m. Then 9 by 17 to 2:59 p.m. and 2 cases from 21 to 22 p.m. So incubation period is minimum of 4.5 hours to maximum of 10 hours. And on the basis of appearance persisting of signs and symptoms, we find that the duration of illness was 24 to 28 hours. So we will, in such cases, most of the disease foodborne outbreak are related to bacteria. Very few cases viruses are involved. So here we have concentrated on isolation and identification. I have listed some name of bacteria and their media. So on the basis of isolation and culture identification, the laboratory given the report of isolation of B series, Bacillus cereus, was grown from stool, 7 samples of stool and 5 samples of vomitus and from fried rice. 2 cases had both vomitus and stool specimen positive for Bacillus cereus. This is the Bacillus cereus, a gram-positive organism, rods. Then comes to epidemiology. In conformity with common source infection, I will show you the graph and review of report or data from public health laboratory, and then the red you will see in figure 3, based on the data of public health laboratory, we have make a graph. We will find the peak of isolation of B series presented as red line coincided with epidemic curve. Just see. So this is the from 4th to 6th, you will see the common source. Next, the red line is related to isolation of B series, which coincide with the common source infection, point epidemic. So, hypothesis should address source of agent, mode of vehicle transmission, and a specific exposure that caused the disease. Foodborne investigation is a retrospective study from present to past, and two groups, that is exposed means those which are consumed the item of menu, and not exposed means did not consume from the item of menu, are compared, are made and compared, calculate and compare the attack rate or incidence in both groups. So we have same questionnaire for control as well as cases. The number of control matters for statistical calculations. So one control per case should be sufficient in outbreaks where cases are more than 50 or more. But if it is less than, then you must have 2 or 4 control cases. Control cases per cases of illness. So who act as a control? Friends, family members, or neighbors of the cases, or people who attended or participated in the party but did not fall in. They can constitute control. So on the basis of information we collected, we have group 2, who ate, who did not eat, and what are the food items. So just see. So sweet and sour, total 64 people had ate. Out of that, 14 are affected. Who did not eat, again you will find 10 out of total 30. Here in case of fried rice, out of 50 are 58, and total attack rate is 86.2%. So on the basis of this table, you will find fried rice has the highest attack rate, 86.2, as well as risk difference, 86.2 minus 10 means 76.2. Therefore, in this case, fried rice is the main culprit and vehicle of infection. So we have to calculate relative risk. Relative risk means risk among exposed, means attack rate among exposed divided by incidence or attack rate in unexposed. A by A plus B if we prepare 2 by 2 table. Next. So here we have prepared 2 by 2 table, and we have calculated attack rate. It's already calculated. This is the attack rate in who ate the fried rice, 86.2. Who did not eat fried rice, attack rate is 10. So relative risk is 86.2 divided by 10 means 8.6. It means risks associated with eating fried rice was 8.6 times more for causing the foodborne infection. So now we will calculate the odd ratio also. So these are the way how to calculate odd ratio. In final, we can calculate if we have 2 by 2 table, A into D divided by B into C. So here 2 by 2 table, A into D divided by B into C. So odd ratio is 15 into 18 divided by 10 plus 2. You can simplify it. It is 45. Odd ratio is 45, means eating contaminated fried rice had a risk factor of 45. Therefore, fried rice was associated with foodborne infection. So now, whatever our findings is, we can compare with the hypothesis and establish findings. Common food associated with B series poisoning are boiled or fried rice, spices, dried fruits, milk, dairy products, vegetable dishes, and sauces. Because this Bacillus cereus is a spore-forming ubiquitous bacterium. It is soil-borne. So it grows between 8 to 55 degrees centigrade. But optimum temperature is 28 to 37. It can grow between pH 4.3 to 9.3, and it requires water activity of more than 0.92. So in continuation, the infective dose of Bacillus cereus is 10,000 per gram of food. Lower number may produce sufficient cerulite toxin to induce vomiting. A spore survives freezing, drying, and moderate heating. It produces emetic toxin, that is cerulite, and diarrheal toxin. Two types of toxin Bacillus cereus produce. Incubation period for emetic toxin is small, 1 to 6 hours, whereas the incubation period for diarrheal toxin production is 8 to 16 hours. Next. So the facts behind the outbreak is the mentioned foodborne outbreaks came from Chinese restaurants, and it is due to Bacillus cereus. What these Chinese restaurants do? Chinese restaurants have common practice of serving portion of boiled rice from bulk cooking. They cook the rice in bulk and store it, usually at room temperature, even sometimes overnight, which help in germination of spores or multiplication of B series if there is soil contamination or due to dust. So what is the recommendations for preventing Bacillus cereus food poisoning? First, a simple step is clean. Clean the utensils used, clean the food items you want to eat, then separate the cooked one and raw material. Then cook it thoroughly. And if you have to store it, then chill it rapidly. So there should not be chances of any contamination, and you can protect your food from food poisoning. If you want to hold the temperature, hold hot food at temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees centigrade or higher. If you want to keep store it, you can chill it at 4 to 6 degrees centigrade promptly. Cooked food should not be left at room temperature for more than 2 hours. Steaming under pressure of cooked food are very essential if the food is not consumed immediately. So this is also recommendations of National Institute of Health and National Food Processor Association to how to destroy the B series. Steaming under pressure can destroy the vegetative cells as well as the spores of these B series in foods. Foods infested with the diarrheal toxins can be inactivated by heating for 5 minutes at 133 degree Fahrenheit or about 57 degrees centigrade. Foods infested with emetic toxin need to be heated to at higher temperature, 259 degree Fahrenheit or 126 degrees centigrade for more than 90 minutes. Reheating foods until they are steaming is not enough to kill the emetic toxins. So emetic toxin is more heat tolerant. So this is all about what I have taken the example. Now in real time we have attended so many foodborne infection in our dairy farm. One is the aflatoxin, aflatoxicosis in bulls of Government Frozen Cement Bank at Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Another one is same aflatoxicosis in government farm at Sitapur in Uttar Pradesh. We have got SMS from, so just I am giving the details of the Raipur Frozen Cement Bank outbreak. That cement bank has elite classes of bulls, 40 in numbers. We get information that out of 40, 36 are affected. They are dull, depressed, not taking any food, and lying on the floor. They called us immediately. We reached there by flight. On going there, they have shown me heap of ampoules and other drugs, and so that we have given all sorts of medicines, but still we are not able to make these animals, affected animals, healthy. Unfortunately or unfortunately, one animal died the day we arrived. Then we have advised them to keep the animals carcasses as it is, so that we can conduct postmortem. When we conducted postmortem, we find their liver is very fragile. When you just touch, it will get broken. And its color is yellowish tinge. So we consider this may be, on the basis of our experience, we think food is involved in this case. So we have collected water samples, we have collected feed samples. Then we want to see what are the ingredients of foods. They say that there is a straw. Where is a straw? So we reach to a storehouse of a straw. The moment they open the door of that food, a straw, where they store the straw, we get smell of fungus. And there is one layer of fungus over the entire straw. Then we pick up the straw. Straw or bhusa. We have picked up the bhusa. It has so much moisture that we can make a laddu. So we collect those bhusa and then we brought it to our laboratory. In the meantime, there is one we have to compare. These are the cases. Then we compare. There is one another farm, dairy farm. The supply of bhusa is different. Other samples are same, but bhusa is different in two farms. So the bhusa which are eaten by cement bank animals, they are affected, and those which are not eaten, dairy farm, they are all healthy. Feed source, water source is same. Environmental is more or less same. So we immediately say that stop feeding of bhusa to these animals. And they have changed the bhusa, and we have added more green to the feed ingredients, and we return back to our lab. Within a week, out of one died, out of 36 affected, out of remaining 35, more than 50% regain their health by 50 days, by a week. We have also advised, take the advice. We also recommended to take the advice of local veterinarians. They have given all the source of liver extract, vitamins. Besides, they have given deep. So out of 35 affected, 50% get cured by 1 week. Then in our lab, when we tested the bhusa, they have more than 1,000 times concentration of aflatoxin to the permissible level. So this is the example of aflatoxicosis. So that's all for same situation was in government pig farm Sitapur. The feed supplier by the contractor is full of rotten weeds, and that is infested with aflatoxin. In that case also we have bring the samples tested that also have more than 4,000 times of the permissible level. The moment we change the diet, we change the concentrate in the pig farm, the animals started survive, getting healthy. So that's all for, that is the end of. Thank you for listening. I am grateful to Dr. Badya and Dr. Jade for inviting me for giving lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for nice presentation. It's a very important topic you have delivered, that is epidemiological investigation of foodborne diseases, because this topic is very much relevant to our 4-week certificate course on enhancing livestock. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Of second speaker, we have the eminent speaker, Dr. Sunil Eknath Jadhav, and sir is working as principal scientist in the division of animal nutrition at Indian Veterinary Research Institute, Ijatnagar, IVRI, and he is going to present his talk on animal nutrition perspective in linking livestock production with One Health approach. So before I invite sir and request for the presentation, I will give brief introduction about sir. So Dr. Sunil Eknath Jadhav, sir is working as principal scientist in the division of animal nutrition, ICR, IVRI, Ijatnagar. Uh, about his educational background, he has completed BVS and H from Krantishya Nana Patil College of Veterinary Science, Irwad, in the year 1993-98, and completed MUSc in Animal Nutrition from College of Veterinary Science, Parbhani, 1998 to 2000. Then he has completed his PhD in Animal Nutrition from ICR IVRI, Ijatnagar, in the year 2001 to 2005. He has more than 20 years of experience in research, teaching, and extension in the subject of animal nutrition and allied disciplines. He has guided 5 MUSc and 3 PhD students, handled more than 10 research projects, including 2 All India coordinated research projects and 1 ICR niche area of excellence project in clinical nutrition. He is working as principal scientist at Center of Advanced Faculty Training, Animal Nutrition Division, ICR IVRI, since June 2018. He worked senior scientist at Center of Advanced Faculty Training, Animal Nutrition Division since 2012 to 2018. Then Scientist B and Scientist C in Defense Research and Development Organization, Ministry of Defense, Government of India during 2005 to 2020. He is a life member of 5 professional societies and co-editor of 10 books and compendia. He has authored 25 book chapters and published papers, abstracts in India.
In fact, the animal nutrition ever before has been studied with the perspective of increasing the animal production mainly. In the changing era and so many challenges with the human beings, with the environment, and with the animals, the animal nutrition subject and its coverage is also changing. So in that perspective, I'm happy to discuss with you all a bit different topic for animal nutritionist, which is related with the One Health approach. Now, I've been searching the literature before talking to you on such an important topic. But as such, there is no, what you can say, a very distinct literature available on this topic. And I have to interrelate many information altogether to bring this information before you. Because One Health approach, as we all know, it's a coordinated effort of different disciplines of biological sciences towards the achievement of the health of animal, the health of human being, the health of environment. And we all understand mostly it encompasses the discipline like public health, discipline like microbiology, discipline like immunology, discipline like wildlife, discipline like many other kind of disciplines. So animal nutrition, though it's a very important discipline among the veterinary sciences, if we see, that is what we are going to discuss, its contribution towards the animal health, towards the human health, towards the environment health, and thus One Health approach of OIE. I think it's going to be an interesting. Though it is a vast topic, this is what I feel. I don't know what is opinion of you. So many points may be missing, but at the end, I think I will be summarize the important points. And I'm also happy that being a such kind of a new topic, I have just tried to give a broad coverage of many distinct points related to animal nutrition and One Health approach instead of going into much details, because this will be out of scope to discuss each and every point in very detail. So let us begin with our topic. And I hope you all are listening. If I can get a response from one or two participants. I hope you are able to listen me. Dr. Vilas?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rajpal. So in the backdrop, some pertinent important information we shall see. That we all know that our population is growing rapidly, and it's really rapidly. That if you see the current population, it is 7.98 billion, and by 2050 it will be 9.8. So difference, it may seem very low at present, but if you see the unit of measurement, it is a billion. So it's quite a huge, it's a huge increase in the population. Anyway, being a veterinarian, being a, the person related to the food production and food security, it's our duty to make available the food for the human beings, because in such situation, our top priority will be the food security and health. The picture here, it's a very symbolic and self-explanatory. Few people, or for that reason, a person is having ample of grains in the hands and many hands are empty. So if there is a shortage of the grains, then how could be the nutrient requirements be satisfied of millions and billions of people worldwide in time to come? So our priority being in the animal husbandry or veterinary fraternity is to increase the food security through the production of animal origin foods. And that is what I think we are going to discuss. But the challenges in this, several challenges are there. Most importantly, as the density of the animals, the practices of animal husbandry will increase, there are all the chances of deterioration of the animal produce, increasing the risk of diseases. And if the diseases, they are zoonotic importance, it is a great concern, and we are evidencing that. So One Health approach and animal nutrition and livestock productivity, they are quite interrelated. And though I could not bring the information very distinctly in front of you, that itself indicates that all these 3 points, they are quite interconnected. So the information is intermingled, and we have to understand each and every information in its own perspective. So no problem, the top priority is there. We have a solution for that. We need proteins. And proteins, they're building block of our body, building block for animals, building block for all the biological creatures, their costliest nutrient, I can say. There are so many nutrients, organic and inorganic, protein, fat, energy, minerals is an inorganic, vitamins are there. Among that, protein is very important. That is what builds our muscle. That is what builds our kids, the young ones. They have to grow. They have to go for accretion of the proteins. Now, if there is a insecurity for the food grains, of course, food grains are or cereals are major source of the energy. Some legumes are there like pulses, soybeans, and certain others. Legumes, they're good source of protein. But the bioavailability of amino acid from animal proteins and plant proteins are totally different. Animal proteins are superior. And moreover, to satisfy such a huge need of animal proteins, animal-based products, meat, eggs, milk, and fish, we have to join our hands together in such a kind of a front that will enable us to produce the maximum out of the available facilities. So the main challenge is to produce the protein in ways that sustain our planets, because inputs we have to give, then only outputs will come. Nowadays we are increasing the efficiency of animals. We are going for the breeding, considering the meat traits, growth traits. We are going for increasing the reproductive ability. In doing so, lot of inputs we have to put, and that is our challenge. We have to sustain our planet, and we have not to drain it while increasing the animal productivity. I think in this way, the total information gathered today in this lecture is very, very important, and let us go for it. Most of the information I have tried to compile in such a way that it is easier to understand, not much text. Somewhere if you find more of a text in the slide, kindly forgive me. I understand the text in the slide decreases the apprehension of knowledge. So I'm just trying to go. Yeah. So this is my favorite slide because maybe I'm an animal nutritionist. Okay. But beside that, if you see the contribution of animal nutrition, you just take any animal husbandry business. It may be the dairy cattle production, commercial goat production, piggery production, poultry, or even for that reason, it may be camel or horses or whatever it is. But if you see the expenditure, the nutrition alone costs 60 to 70% of total expenditure. So if you see here, the labor, health, and other costs at one place, it costs some 40%, and 60% is the expenditure on the nutrition. So my point of stress here is that nutrition is one of the important factor in animal husbandry practices. Yeah, yes, and it is because there are of kind of farmers which are landlord, which are marginal, and which are landless. But the cost of nutrition is same for all. So when we talk of nutrition, we, as a scientist of animal nutritionist, it's our duty and it's my always a priority that it should be the cost effective. So maximum money can be saved when it comes to the animal nutrition. Secondly, I'm not very sure that how many of you are from animal nutrition, because I know the nutrition subject is studied well in BVSCs, but as compared to other disciplines, there are constraints. And as a student, I can confess in front of you that we many a times do not concentrate on the animal nutrition. So sometimes some basic information even I have given here, it does not mean that you people do not know this. So animal feed components, if you see, yeah. I'm just trying to have a marker view on this. Just wait for a minute. I don't know, it's not there. Anyway, the animal feed components is important to know. What we feed to our animals? Mainly we feed here the plant origin foods. Just now, my predecessor, Dr. Sina, was talking about the aflatoxin and the straws and roughages and all. So main component of animal feed in case of the ruminants. See, when we talk of animals, it is mainly the ruminant food production system, because here in countries like India, we rear mainly the cattle for milk production, followed by because of the zones available in India, we have sheep and goat units scattered in many different places. And then, of course, poultry is a different component. It is an industry, well-established industry. And after that, to some extent, we have a piggery, and nowadays it is gaining the momentum. So when it comes to the ruminants, they have an ability to digest the complex fiber into the very productive and nutritious food, that is milk and meat. So we need to understand the plant-based animal feeds and also animal origin. Sometimes we need to give the animal proteins for monogastric animals, mainly poultry and pigs, in the form of the fish meal, in the form of blood and bone meal that we are going to talk. These are really the concern for the human health, for animal health, and thus for the One Health approach. But we have scarcity of feed. We have to depend on such kind of animal origin foods, rendered animals, because they are, they are a source of such a diverse nutrients that are highly bioavailable. We just cannot waste that animal feeds. But looking into some diseases like BSE, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, where the animal origin feeds, especially sheep, created the havoc long back in case of the cattle in United Kingdoms and its zoonotic importance. And hence, feeding of such thing is banned in the ruminants. But in case of the monogastric animals, feeding of fish meal and of course other animal origin feeds are quite allowed. And hence it becomes an important to have a concern about these feed resources. We also feed animal the kind of feed additives. I have mentioned especially antibiotics, because today's topic is about the One Health approach. And when One Health approach we talks, this is the one of the important facet is AMR, antimicrobial resistance. Now, one may say that antimicrobial resistance is a kind of a concern for microbiologists. Mainly, yes, I agree with that. Now, VPH people, yeah, it's a very important aspect for that. Somewhere, considerably, animal nutrition as a subject have the great impact on addressing the AMR issue in what way that we are going to see. So again, brief introduction for the animal nutrition is because we are going to link this animal nutrition with the One Health approach and livestock productivity. So broadly speaking, animal nutrition is probably it's revising different disciplines in the animal nutrition. We have some 7-8 important disciplines. There are many, but these are very important. And on the broad front, it should be discussed. We have a protein nutrition, animal protein nutrition. So when it comes to the protein nutrition, foremost, it comes to the nitrogen. For ruminants, they use nitrogen and they convert nitrogen into amino acids and then peptides and then protein. So for ruminants, we talk of nitrogen, not of the protein. And for monogastrics, yes, it is a amino acids and it is a protein that matters because they don't have rumen microbes in their forestomach. Rumen microbes need nitrogen. They probably do not need much of the proteins and amino acids. They need nitrogen and they use nitrogen to build up their peptides, amino acids, and their protein. So protein nutrition, when it comes, nitrogen and amino acid, they are very important for ruminants and monogastric respectively. And as I told, proteins, they are costliest ingredient. Soybean meal during the COVID period touched more than 100 rupees per kg. And it was a devastating, because such a costly feed ingredient, no farmer can feed to their birds and animals. Besides that, you take any other animal cake, meals, oil seed cakes, their source of protein. I think that much you people must be knowing. But then if you compare the cereals and protein sources are always costlier because their contribution to the animal health, human health are also that extent it is greater. Then comes the energy nutrition. It's a fundamental discipline. Quite a large amount of research have already been undertaken in this. And nowadays, energy as such, I can say that it is a property of a nutrient if it is not a nutrient, because many nutrients have energy. Fat have energy. Protein, if they are oxidized, they produce energy. Many organic nutrients, they produce energy, whatever it is. Energy nutrition is very, very important, especially during the needs when animals have a huge requirement of energy, especially for cattle, peri-parturient period. There is a stage at which you do whatever you want, you just cannot satisfy the energy requirement of high producing peri-parturient cow. We can minimize the gap between requirement and what we are supplementing. But energy, that's why the low cost other energy feed ingredients we can use. As you know, fat, they're having highest energy, but we cannot just go on feeding the fat to the animal because of its adverse effect on rumen microbes, adverse effect on feed intake, and also a huge cost involved in it. So we need some alternate energy sources and people are working on that. It may be some sugarcane industry byproducts. It may be some rice industry byproducts or something like that. So mineral and vitamin nutrition, it is very, very important because micronutrients nowadays, they are even being realized by those who are not much literate because of the conditions that we have recently witnessed. Micronutrients and immunity, they are the words which go all together wherever they go. And same thing happens in animals. But when it comes to the mineral, availability of the mineral in the gastrointestinal tract is a
Sir, you are not audible. Hello? Sunil sir. इकडे त्यांच्याकडे
Am I audible to you, dear friends?
Yes, sir. Yes. Now you are audible.
Now I am audible. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry for that because there is a energy failure, a light failure, and because of that our router was closed. I hope now I am audible to you. Okay.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So inconvenience is there. It's okay, fine. I was discussing about the minerals and vitamins. So as I was telling that minerals, they're important, but their availability is the compromised. Many of the sources, they're not as much available as we are thinking. But for that, we are working on the forms of minerals which are highly available. For example, organic trace minerals, you must have heard about it. They are comparatively more bioavailable. They're absorbed with a great efficiency and they are delivered to the location or target tissue where they need to function. More recently, the nano minerals are being worked out. Nano is small is beautiful. Why they're beautiful? Because more surface area, more electromagnetic properties and all. So that is one important thing, mineral and vitamin nutrition. I am telling because all these things collectively, they contribute towards improving the animal health. And when animal health is okay, they produce the healthy food, human health is okay. And also animal, they use kind of the things in the environment which cannot be used by something else. In that way, they protect the environment. So that's why these different disciplines I'm just explaining. I hope you enjoy it. Then as far as vitamins are concerned, there is now we are reorienting the requirements of vitamins. Nowadays, the requirements of vitamins, they're changing because of certain stress conditions, unprecedented situations, lot of, biotic and abiotic stress. We need to fortify our animal products with the vitamins. Instead of that, give proper amount of vitamins to the animals. They will excrete or they will produce in their animal origin foods. So vitamin needs is satisfied. So in that way, the reorientation of vitamin requirements are going on. Minerals and vitamins, they are important antioxidant nutrients that we are going to see. Next discipline is a clinical nutrition. This is immensely important and very pertinent to today's topic because it deals with the immune response of animal. It deals with the stress condition, biotic and abiotic stress condition of animal. It deals with the metabolic disorders. For animals, of course, like milk fever, ketosis, subarachnoid acidosis, then bloat, laminitis, metritis, mastitis, all these are metabolic disorders by one or other means. Clinical nutrition also deals with the gut health. The most advanced, or you can say, the research being carried out nowadays. Gut is a magic compartment nowadays because through gut only the lot of ways and means they goes to the brain, to the muscle, to all vital organs, and it shares having major impact on the immune response of animals. Okay, so lot of the microbes in the hindgut, they are beneficial microbes which are called as probiotic. Foods or food matrix and prebiotics, they have huge impact on the metabolites produced in the hindgut, which otherwise affect the health of the intestinal tract and absorption of nutrients that we are going to see in brief. Another most advanced, the aspect of animal nutrition is rumen microbiology. Now here, it is having the great concern with the environmental health because of the methane, which is generated in the rumen. It's a natural process and it has to be there. We cannot just stop it. What we can do is we can reduce it to the level at which animal will also conserve some energy and also it will protect the environment. So methane mitigation is an important. And also rumen microbiology have a great impact for increasing the feed conversion efficiency because the rumen microbes, they form a chunk of a or bulk of a protein and microbial biomass, which is digested in the intestine, in the lower digestive tract. So rumen microbes is the target for ruminant nutrition. May be small ruminants, may be large. So in that way, if you want to increase the feed efficiency, you increase the efficiency of rumen microbes, increase their enzymatic actions, increase the particular number of particular organisms. That's why the metagenomics people are studying to know the diversity of the rumen microbes and to link it with the function. And such an important discipline, rumen microbiology. And then comes the unconventional feeds. Unconventional feeds, very, very important for, I will not say the developing country, for India now, because we are at higher stage now, but still we face scarcity of the feed resources because of shrinking of land, no pasture land, the jungles, they are decreasing, forest is going down, cement, concrete, jungle everywhere, it's coming up. we don't have enough resources. Then people have preferences to cash crops to another. There are so many things to tell. In such kind of situation, either we import from outside, which is a costly affair, or else go for an alternate feed resources. Now, this is not the new area, but we are finding new feed resources every day. Even we are going to the extent to use the dung, use the poultry waste, use insect meal, use fruit vegetable waste, you use whatever the waste product have in the nature just to feed the animal and use the organic matter in it. Going ahead, the feed technology. If I'm not audible, kindly let me know. Just there was a failure, but it has again installed immediately. So feed technology, I'm audible, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So feed technology an important aspect. Now here it deals with the packaging, labeling, but before that processing and handling, so much of things which have a concern today when it comes to the One Health approach and when it comes to the safety of the animal feed, because it is going to in animal system, going to in human system, going to in the environment, but and also the cost, because the feed technologies, very simpler technologies, I will tell you, chaffing, cutting, compacting, then feed block preparation, and very high end like pelleting, mash formation, crumbles, and still more higher than that is encapsulation and everything. But while doing so, we are exposing feed materials to so many of things. So feed technology deals with the feed forms, then its storage. Tropical countries, we have so many constraints. We have so many challenges. Humidity, somewhere heat, somewhere very cold, somewhere dampness, humidity, and so many things. We have a problem with storage of even animal feeds. Not properly stored, it will be damped, cake formation, mycotoxins, breakage, insect, and so many things. So safety is an issue when it comes to the storage of feeds, and feed technology is really, doing well into this. Synthetic antioxidants in the feed, vitamin E in the feed, they help us fighting the oxidation of fat, prevent rancidity, and also feed technology encompasses diverse kind of additives. There are so many additives. Main 6-7 classes are there, but if you go to each and every class, we just cannot discuss. At least I cannot just discuss all the feed additives. But important feed additives, they're generally for monogastric. We use inadvertently antibiotics for the growth promoters. We use mineral and vitamin supplement. We use coloring agents. We use flavoring agents. We use so many things as feed additives. We have organic acids. We have herbal feed additives. We have functional feed additives. There are very important many feed additives that can be considered under the feed technology. This is in a nutshell what the animal nutrition. I am telling this because this is having concern with the today's topic, livestock production. So now we'll just narrow down to our point of discussion today, slowly one by one. So again, the nutrition, as far as it's concerned with the animal health, then of course we'll see human health, and then we'll of course see the environment. So you see the nutrition and animal health. To the best of my knowledge, there are not only 4 criteria, there may be others, but on the surface, if you see, these 4 are important criteria. The gut health improvement, yes, very important. As I told you, if you boost your gut health in very premier stages, your latter stages can be taken care of as far as digestibility is concerned. Once your gut health is improved, your immunity is going to improve. Maximum share of the immune response of animal comes through the gut. There are so many different immune cells and components that inhabited in the gut, which helps in the improvement of the immune response. And once immunity is stronger, you are more resistant to infections. You are more resistant and more the chances not to succumb to various kind of even viral infections, even parasitic load, even environmental stress. So we'll see the gut health improvement and how it is done. It is done through probiotics. Now it is again a important word nowadays. It has been since long back, but in animal now it is gaining equal importance as it is important for human beings, especially if you see the cows, neonatal cows. Now we want to reduce the antibiotic use in the animal feeds. What is the way? We have our own research here that we'll be discussing. That use of probiotic have reduced to the greater extent the use of antimicrobials in the calf. So in that way, it is going to contribute to the significant extent to the AMR. Similarly, prebiotics, they are, non-digestible nutrients, but they improve the action of probiotics. They give matrix for different kind of organisms to grow upon. They help in producing good types of the metabolites, butyric acids. Then they manipulate ammonia release. They help colonocytes. They help colon cancer. They help to absorb the VFAs, volatile fatty acids. And then symbiotic, combination of probiotic, prebiotic, or even combination of these two plus herbal feed additives and all symbiotic. They have an additive effect. Okay. So this all will improve the gut health. Then comes to the amelioration of biotic and abiotic stress. We are witnessing the temperature rise all over the globe, and it's a serious concern. I think I no need to go into the detail because now and then we used to discuss, oh, heat is increasing, we're feeling so much of hot here because of climate. Seashore, they are rising, temperature of earth is rising, so many things are happening. Then Himalayas, they're melting, so many things. But if you see the animals, it is impacting the animals because they are going to outdoors, they are going to hills, they are facing the chilled wind. It is not the heat stress only, it is the cold stress, it is so many other stresses. As far as biotic stress is concerned, many disease organisms, you people may be microbiologists and VPH may be more better knowing than me, okay, but endotoxins, so many toxins released by different kind of organisms, they are generating a biotic stress in the animal, and solution or prophylaxis or supportive therapy is antioxidant nutrients, mainly the minerals and vitamins. They are the better antioxidants. We have seen in COVID, take vitamin C and take zinc, okay. So from there we can get an idea. Third point is immune response enhancement. It's a role of nutrient. So when it comes to the immune response, antibodies which are proteinous in nature, if protein energy malnutrition is there, I'm sorry, because you are not going to have enough antibodies to fight against disease, and you easily succumb to the disease. Same happens in the animals. And yes, it is quite prevalent in India because of lack of the proper resources, no good idea about it. Farmers, they're not aware of nutrition and so many things. So it affects animal health. And when animal becomes ill, they spread the diseases to humans, that zoonotic diseases, and they contaminate environment and so many things. So protein, energy, minerals, and vitamins, they form a component of immunonutrition of animals. And of course, when it comes to clinical nutrition or health of animal, the metabolic disorders are very important. You must have heard about negative energy balance in case of the high yielding animals. It is important for animal welfare issue. The milk fever because of lack of enough calcium in the blood, circulating blood. Then phosphorus deficiency as well, hypophosphatemia. Ketosis, we are going, it's common practice in hiding animals in some initial days of the parturition. Not only these, but these metabolic disorders leads to endotoxemia. Then it goes to the extremities where it causes laminitis. Then it's caused mastitis because of circulating endotoxin, reduced immunity of periparturient cows. It also causes metritis because at the same time there may be retention of the placenta because of calcium deficiency or vitamin and selenium deficiency. So there comes the reproductive failure. Animal, goes to the negative energy balance. The body condition score decreases. So many things happens in metabolic disorders. Abomasal displacement as well. Bloat is a common metabolic disorder. So in that, the animal health and nutrition is, just cannot be separated from each other now, because in nutrition, our perception is that total digestible nutrients and digestible crude protein, these are the two things generally discussed in the nutrition. But dear friends, because our mandate here IVRI is animal health, and nutrition have a great role. And that's why I'm saying it is not only the digestibility and the crude protein or proximate principle that encompasses the animal nutrition. It is more than that. Now, briefly, you can see the gut health improvement, how it improves the gut health. The mechanism is same in case of the humans and animals. Probiotics, I hope you all know it. So briefly, I will just go. Probiotics and prebiotics, they work hand in hand. Like probiotic, they enhance the growth of beneficial gut microbes, lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, and few others which are more importantly prevalent in the gut. It is also required for proper functioning of microbiota, gut, and the brain axis. Dear friends, now probiotics, they are linked with the most of the mechanisms and biological processes in the body. Brain is not an exception. Now even it is linked with the skin disorders. It is linked with the mastitis. So you should not be surprised if we have a probiotic to address the skin lesions. We have a probiotic to reduce the incidences of mastitis. So it is in that stature, it is at that level it is being studied. Then it also improves the host defense system. It has a great role when it interacts with the immune cells in the gut, dendritic cells, and it interaction with all T cells, various kind of T cells in the gut, the lymphoid tissue interaction, it all helps in improving the immunity. Similarly, when it comes to the prebiotic, they stimulate growth of the probiotic microorganisms, and in that way they have a synergistic action on each other. So prebiotic, they're also important. Prebiotics like inulin, that is a non-digestible carbohydrate, or fructooligosaccharides, mannan oligosaccharide, and they are very important. Our food is having little bit concentration of prebiotic, but if when we take an intentionally the higher source of the prebiotic, it has a different functions. It also helps in fermentation of the undigested feed when it comes to hindgut, and in that way it increases the efficiency of the feed utilization. In hindgut, they produce volatile fatty acid, they produce butyric acid. Now butyric acid is important for the differentiation of colonocyte. So in that way, it helps in absorption of the energy. There are so many things because we are actively engaged in the probiotic and prebiotic research. We usually find this kind of information, and recently in NHP only in the CAST program, we undertook some research in case of the cows, where we have gone for isolation of an autochthonous probiotic strains from the calf own feces, and we have found very encouraging results. Whenever we have tested it in case of the colitis induced rat model, it has given significantly better results. So this indicates the potential of one of the nutritional technology, that is the probiotic. Okay, because feed component have great impact on the kind of organisms present in the diet, and prebiotic, of course, I have told you how it helps. Now when it comes to the stress condition, biotic stress, I already have explained. The biotic stress, it's a global problem, especially in case of the hot environments, in tropical environment. The abiotic stress, somewhere it is a cold stress. Most of the time in our situation, it is a heat stress. And in economics terms and everything, that information is available everywhere, and there is no need to emphasize this, because this is the truth and it's prevailing truth. It have a very significant impact on various kinds. But before that, when it comes to the biotic stress, mainly we have taken here the endotoxin as a model, because in our one of the ENASF project we are working on that. The endotoxin as a biotic stress and heat stress as a abiotic stress. So there are so many consequences that we evidence, and hence the use of antioxidant minerals or antioxidant nutrients is of prime importance. We have in our studies have targeted zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, and I will be sharing some of the results with you. So the stress amelioration by antioxidant nutrients, in the nutshell, I can share with you. There are different kinds of antioxidants when we discuss about it. Dietary antioxidant, when it comes to the vitamins, it is a water soluble vitamin C, that is ascorbic acid, which is very, very important one. Then tocopherol and carotenoids, they are fat soluble. And certain minerals, copper, zinc, ferrous, selenium, manganese, and others, they are part of ceruloplasmin, superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase, and so many things. I think then this is what we are doing in case of the heat stress, for example, just the importance of the trace elements to emphasize one of the study I'm putting forth in front of you. There are so many studies we have conducted recently in case of the court model. We have exposed them to the temperature humidity index of up to 87, means the temperature was up to 40 to 41 degrees Celsius temperature against some 20 degrees Celsius, which is called a thermoneutral zone for animals. And we have given different levels of the zinc, 2 times and 3 times higher. 20 ppm is a NRC requirement. We have gone for 40 and 60. We have studied so many parameters, only selective parameters in front of you. MDA, which is the stress indicator, is significantly increased, indicating lipid peroxidation. But you can see when we use higher levels of zinc, even in case of the heat stress, there was significant reduction in the MDA. Same thing happened. Catalase, antioxidant enzyme activity was increased. Superoxide dismutase was also increased. Then when it comes to the interleukins, there was significant increase in heat stress, but higher level of antioxidant nutrient, zinc, low down. Same thing happened in tumor necrosis factor. Pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory cytokine was increased because of feeding higher level of zinc. Acute phase reactor, that is haptoglobin, was also increased because of heat stress, but it was recovered, lowered down because of. So this shows 2 to 3 times higher selenium, higher zinc, higher other trace minerals that are important for animal to combat. And there is need to change the recommendations, nutrient requirement of animals. In case of the stressful environments, there should be some 2 to 3 times higher trace minerals. So that is what we have gone for nutrigenomic approaches also to delineate the mechanisms. But that's all. Then when it comes to the immunity, as we know, exposure to infectious agents, it creates the stress. There is a change in the homeostasis. It leads to the breakage of homeostasis. Now, homeostasis is the process by which nutrients, there is a partitioning of nutrients. Nutrients, they goes to different kind of enzymes, to different kind of proteins which are involved in the immune response, rather than, contributing in growth and production. So there is a redistribution of blood flow and hence nutrients also. And in case of the immunity, there is an acute phase response. Whenever we have a fever, there is an acute phase response. Haptoglobin, serum amyloid A, ceruloplasmin, these are all acute phase proteins. They are synthesized by liver and they have a toll on the nutrients. They capture nutrients. So release of acute phase proteins from liver, they changes the metabolism of nutrition. Then they switch amino acid utilization from growth to the production of acute phase proteins. In that way, there is a low down of animal productivity when they are affected or when they are infected, because amino acids, what are required for milk production, meat production, they are used for synthesis of acute phase proteins. It is a kind of an important, significant contribution whenever protein utilization is concerned during the ailments. So you can see metabolic rate, whenever there is a fever, it increased by 5 to 13%. Energy requirement of leukocytes, the immune cells, they increase by 2 to 3-fold. Now you can imagine that the nutrition, how it is important during animal disease or even human disease state. If we have malnutrition already, our immune cells will not be equipped. The energy deficiency, there will be no, proper response of the immune cells. So important facts again, if you see the immune system, more than 2% of body weight, they are it is contributed by cells of the immune system. So because I don't know whether this kind of information you have been exposed prior to this, but we being in nutrition, we generally have a different kind of approach. So for such a huge kind of immune system to provide energy and nutrition, we need to give an accurate amount of the protein, energy, also minerals and vitamins, because there is a phagocytosis. In phagocytosis, there is production of reactive oxygen substances to kill the antigen or pathogen. But if cells do not have their own antioxidant mechanism, they will also die before they kill the pathogens. So we need to give proper amount of minerals and vitamins to maintain the strength of the phagocytic cells. Okay. So the same kind of information, energy and amino acids, fatty acids and vitamins, minerals and antioxidants, they are required for proper proliferation of cells. Carotenoids, they are required for differentiation. As and when there is a need, if we don't have substrates, no differentiation, no multiplication of the cells, and also because of their role in antibody production, their role in acute phase protein synthesis. Now liver is such a huge important metabolic gland. If you don't give substrate for acute phase protein synthesis, the response from animal will not be proper. Same kind of thing, so we need to be little hurry. So now we have finished effect of nutrition and animal health. Now very importantly, how animal nutrition and the environmental health is interrelated. So the most important factor, pardon? Okay. Most important factor. I'm audible to you all? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the ruminants, they are blessed with the microbes. They convert even the worst kind of animal feed into a very important and resourceful meat and milk products. But at the same time, they have a ability to produce the methane. If you see the domains, different kind of organisms present in the rumen, we find eukaryotes, prokaryotes, but we also find archaea. Archaea, they are methane producing microorganisms, and this is not good thing, but it is essential. Methane production is an essential thing in case of the rumen. It is a hydrogen sink. If that hydrogen is not synced, there will be a blast. There will be dysregulation of many mechanisms. But being these professional scientific, we have to limit the methane production to a certain extent because of its worsening effect on our environment. That is global warming. Global warming and potential of methane is high, 28 times higher than the carbon dioxide. And the livestock, is blamed for the methane production. Large chunk of the methane produced from livestock, oral eructation, and also from the manures and also rest of the methane from the agricultural crops and fields. Also, there is a loss of valuable gross energy up to 12%. So this energy could be used by the animal for some useful purposes. I think we need not to go into the details of how much it is. Once it is a problem, means it is a problem. Okay, so this graph, it shows how much globally it is produced, and how much teragram it is produced and how much it is contributed. But of the total from the livestock, total from the animals, different animals, ruminant itself have 80% share. So now you can understand. So because of all this, the impact of global warming, there is a rise in average temperature. For over a decade, it is increasing by 1 point some degrees Celsius temperature. It is not good. There is a decrease in monsoon precipitation. So we are a rain-fed region at many places in India, and we know the consequences. And global warming is adding, the problems, is adding obstacles to our problems. There is a rise in extreme temperatures and rainfall events. We are witnessing droughts. Every day during monsoon, we are experiencing cloud burst. I'm not directly relating it, but if we see, yeah, it is related. It is related. Global warming is related to all these kind of incidences. Droughts, even maybe a sukha or a gila. No, it's a global warming which is contributing. And cyclones, it may not be a problem for our continent, but yeah, in other world countries, it is a problem. And changes in monsoon. Now this year, it is up to January. The monsoon is extended up to January. Reasons may be whatever, but I'm damn sure that it is all because of the changing climatic scenario. And in that condition, livestock, yes, contributes to the greater extent. We cannot deny that. So it's highly relevant to the environmental health and One Health approach. In between, I will be, talking about One Health approach, because sometimes we may get diverted and you people may also get delinked of One Health approach, what we are discussing today. So what are the reduction strategies for methane? This is the only side. I'm not going into the detail. There are different strategies. Feed manipulation. We can use feed in such a way that methane production is less. I mean, how the methane is produced? There are sugars. There are fermentable substrates, which gives us volatile fatty acids and hydrogen. Okay. Now, and carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide and hydrogen combine together, it forms CH4, that is methane. So how best we can reduce the methane generation? That can be seen by manipulation of the feed. Chemicals, there are n number of chemicals. They have potential, like nitrates, like sulfur, like NOP, recently have been studied. They have found very potential to reduce the methane. Different kind of feed additives, especially essential oils, aromatic oils, those give sense. Maybe from there are a number, then cumins, then so many, garlic oil, not only this, there are so many oils being studied in IVRI, in NINP Bangalore, in NDRI, because they have really the potential to inhibit the in vitro as well as in vivo methane emission. So kind of feed additives, other feed additives like tree leaves, the different tree leaves because of their saponins, tannins, kind of different herbal components in that, they have been studied for their ability to reduce the methane generations. Use of alternative hydrogen sink. Hydrogen should be synced to generate methane. But if we use hydrogen for some kind of other sinks, then methane can be reduced. So terminal electron acceptors like sulfate, like nitrate, they are being studied. And in abroad and USA, some institutes, they have found very good results with some of the chemical entities, which are, alternative hydrogen sinks. In time to come, we are going to witness the effective feed additives. So I would like to share that in NNP Bangalore, they have already transferred the technology for methane inhibition, Haridhara, and also the feed prepared out of tamarind. They have a potential to reduce the methane emission to the greater extent. Another thing is, and in IVRI, we have screened so many tree leaves that are in process of a product formulation. National chair, professor chair, project has been run in the IVRI, and we have come up with the combination of essential oils and combination of some of the tree leaves that are having the great impact on reduction of the methane emission from the GI tract of ruminants. Some other important, what you can say, the strategies like selective breeding of superior animals, those who have better digestive capacity and reduce the methane, that has been looked on. Defaunation is removal of protozoa from the digestive tract, because protozoa and methanogens, they have symbiotic relationship. Once you remove the protozoa, there are chances that archaea may go down. Then immunization vaccine is a recent area comparatively. People are working on it, though we are not getting some kind of a response that we should get as far as its success is concerned. But science is for that. People are working on that. Then even early life programming, it sounds a little bit, highly, we anticipate some good out of it. But the hypothesis is though correct. To bring it in reality, it may take some time. But the programming of a fetus when it is in the womb or in uterine tract, there are some critical windows when we can manipulate the metabolism of fetus. When it comes out in the adult stage, it exhibits desirable characteristic because of the early life programming. So that is also one of the possibility. Now, other than methane, when it comes to environment, health and animal, we have nitrogen excretion problem, because sometimes high producing animals, they are fed on high plane of nutrition. When we feed high protein and non-protein nitrogen like urea, the excess nitrogen is excreted. Now, leave aside our problem, we have feed scarcity, but many of the outside countries, and even unbalanced feeding in our country, there may be chances of excretion of nitrogen. Now it accumulates in the environment, and this is not good because of certain other reasons that needs another hour to explain. Similarly, phosphorus excretion. Now, many countries, they have tax on the phosphorus excretion from the animal farms. So it is such a great problem, phosphorus. So how best we can give the requirement in the feed that will not be an excess, that will not be excreted out by the feces to the greater extent, and it will not pollute the environment. That is important. Similarly, inadvertent use of minerals is not warranted. We just cannot allow the excretion of minerals through the digestive tract because we feed it in animal in higher concentration. This is not desirable. Number one, it is not cost effective. It may be harmful to animal, but it is harmful to the environment. That is an important. And then also animals, ruminants, they use kind of a waste product available in the ecosystem, which otherwise will pollute the environment. They use fruits and vegetable waste. You go to the mandi waste, bigger mandis, lot of vegetable waste lying idle and then deteriorated and rotten by meantime, and then it is a problem for disposal. But at the same time, here in our division have a project on vegetable waste, preparing silage out of it. Many other institutes in India, they're working in Ludhiana also. The fruit waste, fruit pulp, such a huge kind of pulp is produced. We just cannot allow it to go waste. So from that point of view, the ruminant animals and even some of the monogastric animals, they're important to save the environmental health. So this is how I just tried to. Now for human health, it's all we know it, but there are so many other slides to discuss certain slides. So designer animal products, very, very important aspect, because those who are non-vegetarian and even those are having, taking milk or eggs and even meat, the animal or ruminant fat, proteins, they have a kind of a profile which can be manipulated through diet. Okay, so for example, in case of the poultry, and it is being worked out, people are producing designer eggs that are, fortified with omega-3 and omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, there is no need to explain how far they're important for animal health, human health. But if you get an egg every morning having enriched UFA, then you'll be happy. So the animal nutrition technologies like feeding how much of fish oil, how much of flaxseed, they have a typical profile of fish, how much it is coming to the eggs that have all been worked out and is being studied. This is the concept of designer animal products. Same times, when it comes to the milk, you must have heard about CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. It is having all the properties that one ideal product should have when it comes to human health. It is anti-cancerous, antimicrobial, antioxidants, and so many anti things. I'm not exaggerating. It has been proved by the science. So ruminants only have the capacity to produce conjugated linoleic acid by some biochemical reaction in the rumen and in the udder. And also some of the high altitude plants, they have higher production of conjugated linoleic acid. So when it comes to the milk, it is a wonderful milk as far as your health is concerned. So people even producing this CLA fortified milk, organic milk, fetch a good price. They give the health benefit to human beings. Now take an example of goat milk. Our Mahatma Gandhiji, he was always carrying a goat with him. Goat milk is 5 times less allergic than cow milk, and it contains higher amount of medium chain fatty acids and CLA, which is a desirable property. तभी तो हम कहते थे goat milk is good than the cow milk. It also have desirable oligosaccharides, nucleotides, and antioxidants. So that's why the commercial goat dairy farming is coming up. They're fetching good prices, selling milk at higher rates. But this is how the animal nutrition technologies through the ruminants, milk producing animals, they're contributing to the human health. Similarly, egg and meat can be enriched in some of the very important trace minerals. Now, ferrous, it is important for overcoming the anemia, which is the 6th largest metabolic disorder or disease in case of the human beings. So it has a great potential. Other trace minerals, zinc, selenium. Zinc is, in India at least, we have a deficiency at major regions. So there is a need for the extra intake of the zinc. So if you get the animal produce, which is fortified because of the dietary manipulation, it have a great impact. I will not talk much about the antimicrobial resistance because you people are more expert than me. And probably this time topic must be discussed to the greater extent by other speakers, hardcore speakers. My only intention for including here, animal nutrition as a subject plays an important role to overcome the antimicrobial resistance because we can reduce the use of antibiotics in the animal feeds. I know some of the countries in Europe, they have already banned it. We have not banned it. We are using it in case of poultry. Only thing is that we have to give some rest period to animals so that residues are not excreted or coming out in the eggs or meat, but inadvertent use because of lack of knowledge and our practices. We are using antibiotic through great restraint. We are using antibiotic as an antimicrobial growth promoters. So really, this have a concern. But here I have just depicted how the antibiotics we are using in animal for therapeutic purposes, for prophylaxis, for both therapeutic and prophylaxis, for growth promotion. In case of the poultry, pigs, antibiotics, they increase the health and productivity. They increase also the emergence of resistant strains. Now, how these strains mechanism, efflux mechanism, this mechanism, several mechanisms are there for the microbes by which they acquire the antimicrobial resistance. But the one most important factor coming ahead is use of inadvertent amount of antibiotics. Now, animal nutrition as a subject, we have kind of technologies. By the use of probiotics, prebiotic, and symbiotic, we can significantly reduce the use of antibiotics. Like, for example, diarrheal incidences in one of our experiments in case of the cows, They reduced significantly when we fed autochthonous probiotic developed from the calf feces. Now you can imagine that in calf starter, there is no need to use an antibiotic. Similarly, we have seen in case of the pigs, the developed probiotic was effective in reducing the use of antibiotic use. So it has to be practiced and it will considerably reduce the use of antibiotic. There are phytogenic growth promoters, different kind of important phytogenic plants available in India, maybe in the Himalayas or the plant secondary metabolite. They grows well in case of the adverse situation in plants. So the plants in adverse climatic conditions, they have higher secondary metabolites, and these metabolites, they have antimicrobial action, they have functional properties, they act on the liver and make them strong, they improve immunity, immune response of animals, they have direct action on immune cells, T cells and B cells. So if we use that, probably prophylactically, our animals may not succumb to the infections, and by that way, the treatment with antibiotic is avoided. We have bacteriocins secreted by some bacteria, probiotic strains. We have nanoparticles, nanominerals, their delivery is enhanced. And with use of that, animal health is improved. We have microbial peptides. We have phage therapy. We have immunomodulants, different dietary origin immunomodulants, maybe natural or synthetic. Some cytokines treatments, prophylaxis using balanced diet is the most important. You try that your animals have a improved immunity and reduce the use of antibiotics and antimicrobial resistance will be avoided. Yes. The OI is coming up. You all know better than me. Lot of discussion must have been taken place by now. So here we stand, improve animal health and welfare. This is the OI strategy for fighting against the antimicrobial resistance. If you just go to this website, you will find all the important things and the strategy, how we can go ahead. But when it comes to animal nutrition, when it comes to how to improve the animal health and welfare, the animal nutrition have a great impact. Hurriedly, we'll go to the aflatoxin because it's a feed related one, have a great impact on human health. As we know, YUM1, that is the aflatoxin secreted in milk, is having a concern, and that is why FSSAI recently, 2019 onwards, they have a concern and declared that now the animal feeds will be regulated because of or regulated for knowing the concentration of aflatoxin, pesticide, and heavy metals. So aflatoxin is the subject we have been studying since our BSc or our graduation, and here are some of the examples. The maize followed by soybean, they have reported higher concentration. Groundnut cake, here you can see, have crossed the limits 30 ppb. It's not an advisable. Higher concentration of the aflatoxins, they have been found in many of epidemiological studies in sausage and other meat products, which is not good for human health. It comes from the animal system. So we have a great concern and it should be tackled. And it has been also seen that if birds are fed higher concentration, its concentration in meat increases. It is not totally metabolized in the body. It comes in the milk. It binds to rumen content. Though very less of it reach the intestine, but 1 to 6.2% of total aflatoxin, which is reaching in intestine, is secreted in the milk, and it is having concern. And that's why, if you see the permissible levels, FDA, European Commission, Bureau of Indian Standard, FSSAI, all they have given the limits. So we have to be in the limit in the real sense. There are different strategies, no need to go into the detail because it's a kind of a separate seminar, maybe. Different adsorbents that can absorb the aflatoxin in the feed, different microbial enzymes, they can degrade different nutritional approaches, they can improve the animal strength to fight against the aflatoxins can be worked upon, and they are working. Now we're towards the end of our, I think, presentations. Some few slides are remaining. So if you visit the OIE website, you will find how the animal feed is important in one health approach and protecting the animal, human health and environmental health. Because animal feed is an important component of the food chain, which is related to animal welfare, animal health, food safety, and public health that we have just seen. Now it's time to talk about the animal feed and public health and animal welfare issue. So there are reports that animal feed can be a potential source of or important pathway for entry and spread of contagious epidemic diseases. And here only we need a technical know-how and we have to be vigilant how the diseases like FMD and SVD and even influenza will not spread through the feed. At least how can better we take biosafety, biosecurity measures. But it has been found that animal feed can be a potential source of these infections. Also, some of the zoonotic organisms, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, that you all know in case of the United Kingdom, it has really created an havoc and many animals were slaughtered because of the prion disease and unidentified fraction which affects the nervous system of animal. And it is that's why there is a ban on use of the blood and bone meal in case of the ruminant diet. So that is an important point over here, which is having the direct concern with animal nutrition and vis-a-vis animal health and human health. Then OIE has now zoonotic disease mandate, which encompasses the animal production and food safety in collaboration with Codex Alimentarius Commission. Now it is a body, jointly organized body from FAO and WHO, have a responsibility to come up with the practices and codes that describe different standards, and we have to just follow that. OIE has also developed guidance on foodborne zoonosis and animal feeding. This is where the animal feeding concern in case of the zoonosis is concerned. And as I told, practices on good animal feeding provided by the Codex code. In the last slide, I have given some references. You just click on that, it will take you on what should be the practices for animal feeds when it comes to zoonosis and One Health approach. I have compiled that information. Yeah, any doubt? I know I'm going late. Few slides are remaining. So, yeah, we have seen that the control of animal and public health hazard is through the adherence to recommended practices during production. So we need to be vigilant while growing the feeds. We are procuring them, we are handling them, storing them, processing and distribution. And if you see the animal feed, it is a carrier of viruses, bacteria, and some prion proteins that we have seen. Potential source of metals, plastic, and glass. It is a physical one. And some chemicals. It carries pesticides, veterinary drugs, environment pollutants, natural toxins like aflatoxin, heavy metals, lead, mercury, arsenic, very dangerous toxin even in India and in case of the region where Kolkata and that kind of Odisha and some part of Bihar. Arsenic toxicity is a problem, and in Haryana, selenium is a problem. So we are witnessing it. It's not on the paper only, but we need to know it and we need to act. So in the nutshell, it is compiled from the OIE, how animal feed and how there are hazards, how meat, milk, egg, and cheese that are adversely affected, and how human consumption and public health have a direct concern with the animal feed. So when we talk of One Health, I think probably I'm happy to share that animal nutrition aspects in front of you. I was just going through the different topics, but I found that this information was important to convey. Now, few slides more, my dear friends, very important, animal welfare. We are using animals for 60 liters of milk production. We are rearing poultry for more than 2.5 kg body weight in within 30-35 days. This is not good because of animal welfare. This may be good, but we have to take care of their welfare as well. In what way? In other way, also there are animals which don't have something to eat, balanced diet. So freedom from hunger, malnutrition and thirst. Freedom for fear and distress. Freedom from heat stress, discomfort. freedom for pain, injury, and disease, freedom to express normal pattern of behavior. All it encompasses animal welfare. This is what OIE defines animal welfare. And if you see in all these 5 points, animal feeds and nutrition have a major share. So if you have no enough recognition of feed, you kindly requested to go through this information and apply this on the field. So balanced nutrition, stress for environmental condition, appropriate body condition score. One should know if you want to really practice the animal welfare, unless and until animal handlers know about the body condition score, he cannot judge animal is overfed or underfed, what is going inside the animal. And also animal is in the heat stress or what, you must know at what stage animal is feeling discomfort and take the measures, take the antioxidant supplements. This is how the animal welfare is addressed. Feedstuffs should be having satisfactory quality. Go and analyze it. Go for proximate principle analysis. Does it have crude protein content appropriately? Does it have more than needed acid insoluble ash? These all, all is related to the animal feed. Whatever the new diet, if you do not know how to feed animal, don't go for it. In case of the periparturient animals, people immediately start feeding concentrate. Animal experience subacute ruminal acidosis. Gram-negative microbes, they proliferate in the rumen. They burst, they release endotoxin. Endotoxin circulated in the body and it causes laminitis, liver abscess. Maybe in time to come, if it is not addressed, there may be the death of animal if diet is not properly handled. Overfeeding is also a problem. Now you just see. So you must have fair idea about it. And this is what the animal welfare is. Also, you should know the nutrition in last month of pregnancy. Lot of metabolic diseases can be avoided. Milk fever can be addressed prophylactically. Ketosis can be taken care of if we give proper energy. Liver, fatty liver can be addressed if you know the proper diet of animals. Then care for mastitis, metritis, retention of placenta, ibomazal displacement, all this can be taken care of. We need to promote the rumen development of calf. It is a part of an animal welfare. We should start giving some concentrated refresh 2 weeks onwards. It is not like we should go on continuing the liquid feed to the rumen cows, the ruminant cows. Doing so, rumen will not be properly developed. So it is a welfare issue. You have to know the proper feeding practices for the animals and act accordingly. You should see the micronutrient deficiencies, whether ruffled feather coats or skin coat is there, whether animal is not growing, animal is feeling sick always, and then the charm is not there. You should be always vigilant to see the deficiencies. That is the welfare. You should provide the palatable water to animal. You should know or you should monitor outcomes based on measurables. You go for weighing of animals periodically. Just see whether it is growing. Just see whether it is losing the body weight. Go and measure its girth and all. See how it is behaving, vocalization, whether it is in stress or not. All it is in the animal welfare. I have given some of the links which are directly related to the animal feeds and One Health approach or feed safety and animal productivity. Those who are interested, they can just go and click. So in conclusion, I can say, I know I have not covered the wildlife. It is a very big topic because the captive wild animals which are kept in the zoo, they have to taken care of for their welfare and nutrition needs, because their nutritional needs, they are different than the wild animals which are free in the jungles, in the forest. But I think I have conveyed my message. So in conclusion, there is one conclusion only for me. Animal feeding nutrition has significant impact on animal, human and environment health, and thus it affects the One Health approach. So thank you very much for your patience hearing. And this is the emblem or monograph I have taken from the OIE website. It's not my own, and I acknowledge a lot of information I have taken from the World Animal Health Organization website and different resources. I hope I have addressed pertinent issues and try to justify it. So thank you for listening me. I have taken a lot of time of yours. Organizers, thanks to Dr. Vilas. Thank you to the team. And I rest my talk here.